And I'm David. It's the Big Brother 20 premiere.
But first, YourShirtingMe.com. Funny, silly shirts. Use the code NERDTAINMENT for 10% off your order.
Ooh, time to get down to business.
So we see all 8 come in, do little packages, typical first episode, get to know them a little bit more, because you know, we see things that were not in all of their bios, like Swaggy's a babysitter.
Yeah, right.
Little things like that. Sam lives in a camper. It was adorable.
Who knew? Yes, so they sort of go in groups of 4, and we're just sort of getting to know them at this point.
Sure. I do love that Tyler looked like he was purposely hanging back to not be the first one in the house.
Which was great.
That's an interesting sign that he knows. He knows the curse.
Yeah, I was dubious of Tyler to start off with. I was like, he's so young. He just seems like a typical stupid surfer guy. But like that, I was like, props to him for knowing about that curse and like already playing the game before you've even set foot in the door to make sure that you're not the first one in.
Right, and he just sounded a little more grounded. You know, he's like, I'm smarter than I look, but everyone says that, so I don't believe you.
Right.
But he actually does sound smarter than he looks, so now I believe you.
Yeah, so the first one in is actually Bailey, so we'll have to see, you know, how that curse goes.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
I really liked Casey more from her package. I kind of already was drawn to Sam, but was drawn even more to her.
Yeah.
I don't know, those are some of my first impressions. I do think it was really funny how Steve, it says he's a mechanic, but like you're giving off cop vibes left and right. Like nobody's buying it.
Yeah, like there were moments where he's like staring daggers at people, and it's like mechanics don't really do that.
And the whole South Carolina Hilton Head thing that we had pointed out that 2 people are from Hilton Head, that's odd.
And Angela like can't keep it together. She's like so excited, like, oh my god, you're for me. And Tyler's like, keep it together. Like, don't tell everybody.
He is already playing that game.
Already.
For sure.
I will say also, Scotty was not quite as annoying in his package as he was in the Ross interview.
Totally. I thought just his voice alone was going to annoy me, but I enjoy him. His self-awareness, I love.
Yes.
So great.
Yes. So people are already a little bit different than we expected them to be, which is great.
Of course. We knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, you have to be one way in casting, but then once you're in the house, all bets are off. You can be who you are or how you want to play the game.
Right. After the first hour or so of getting to know these people, the second hour of the show is this extra competition.
Comps, yes.
They are divided up into 2 groups of 8, and then they end up playing 2 separate games.
Yes.
And kind of, well, the first one's definitely luck. You're in the dark looking for a folder, and then do you happen to have the winning folder?
Right, exactly.
So it's like, whoa, what, okay.
And there's a thing where if you don't get the winning folder, you can choose to go back in to try to get the winning folder, but nobody does that. Everyone's just happy to be safe because the person who loses each of these competitions gets a punishment, and no one wants that punishment.
A game-changing punishment, Julie says.
Yes.
So it's not an HOH, so it's like, you don't have to win it necessarily, so most of them who find folders are just like, no, I'm
just gonna be safe. Going into the house.
Yeah.
Angela's the one who finds the escape and play folder. So now she's moving on to this like final 2 challenge. She gets to play another challenge after this.
Yes. And then it comes down to Casey and Winston.
Which we like both of them. So we're like, no, we don't want either of them to get a punishment. But Casey ends up getting it.
Casey does. So she disappears, and the rest of them are waiting for the second group. So the second group then is playing a little bit more of a challenge because they do have to actually spell.
Yeah.
And
like build something. It's sort of like a Survivor-esque challenge.
Totally a Survivor challenge.
And they're like on these bungee cords and they're being drawn up and they have to stack up the word house guest.
So and like some fall down and like there's a little bit of gameplay to that one. Yeah. Swaggy totally wins it pretty quickly.
He and Scotty and Fessel are all pretty close together. But Swaggy's like in it to win it, and he does end up getting it done first.
And we should point out, I mean, we kind of saw from his pre-interviews that he is intense, and he was like, I want to win some challenges. I want people to know I'm a threat.
Yeah.
And he is 100% that way.
Yeah.
He like marched in that room, that house, and is like, I won.
They're like, did you win? He's like, yeah, that's why I'm in the house. And Bailey's like, well, no need to be so intense. Congratulations.
Thank goodness for Bailey, like, dialing him back down, because you kind of do have to soften it a little bit without being like, okay, jerk.
I know. The one thing I will say, like, I like that he's there to compete. I wasn't really expecting that from him because I thought he was just there to promote Swaggy C.
Right.
But he is not someone who has studied the game because he's way too intense off the bat. And Bailey recognizes that and is like, take it easy. You don't have to be so intense.
And he might have thought he studied the game.
Yeah.
But he just got different impressions.
Right.
Than what seemed to succeed.
Yeah.
I don't know.
His social game is not on point yet.
It's struggling a little bit. And then out of that group, Sam loses.
Yes. Which I was so bummed. It was down to Sam and Haley, and I thought, like, I don't really care if Haley gets a punishment, but I want Sam to not, but then she ends up losing.
Haley seems adorable, but yeah, for some reason, I'm drawn to Sam,
yes. So now we move on to this other competition between Angela and Swaggy C. Everybody except for Sam and Casey are on the sidelines watching, and they're on these, like, surfboard things, and they have obstacles thrown at them, and they just have to balance for as long as possible.
Now, we should point out that Swaggy's all like, I'm gonna win, I'm gonna win, I'm gonna win.
Yes.
Angela had already sort of thought, well, if we have to save 8 and 8 are not safe, she said we might as well just go with our group of 8 because they're competing as 8. And it kind of made sense.
Yeah.
But Swaggy goes to her and is like, we should probably make a deal about safety. And Angela's like, I should probably keep my 8 safe, you keep your 8 safe, which is not what he was thinking.
Yeah, right.
So he gets a little worked up.
He's a little upset by that. And he's like, oh, she told me I'm competing against her. And she tells me she's not going to save me.
Which fuels his fire, and he's now even more competitive.
Yes, but she's like a fitness person, so she definitely challenges him, and they go for a long time. But Swaggy does ultimately win it. But then he's like, props to you, you push me, you're safe. He hugs her and says that at the end of the competition.
And you're like, oh, that's really nice, because he seems so competitive. But now he's like, you know, I should keep you safe. Then we get a little bit of information. And Julie's like, you're gonna save 8 people, but in the groups they entered the house.
Right. So
we
2
had
groups of 4.
4 groups of 4 entered the house.
Yeah.
So you get to choose 2 of those groups. And obviously he's going to choose the group he's in.
Obviously. So
that's
then he has
only
to choose one other group. Now, in my view, there are a couple of options. One is for him to save the group that he was in the original 8 with. But to me, the more logical decision is to save Angela's group, because he can just say, look, Angela won and I won our individual competitions, so I'm saving our groups of 4. That's it. That's the least amount of blood on my hands.
And he kind of thought of that one first. Of like, well, I told her she'd be safe. I feel like she should be safe. So I could do that.
Yes.
Then, obviously, he and Bailey had sort of had a little connection because she was trying to talk him down and they were starting to bond a little bit. So she gives that pitch.
Yes, right. Because each of the groups of 4 go in and like sort of make their case to him. And he's like, Bailey's my sister in the game. I'm like, you've known her for what, 3 hours at the most at this point? Like, how are you already calling her your sister?
But in that circumstance, you might feel like, oh my God, you're my soulmate.
Yeah. And like, she really is the only one who came up to him and was like trying to coach him and talk game to him a little bit. So maybe he felt like, okay, this girl has definitely got my back.
Right, valid.
So he seems to be a little bit conflicted.
And then, like you mentioned, the other 4 was like, well, we were the second 8.
Yeah, right.
So we could easily, you know, no blood on your hand if you just do that.
Yes.
So everyone sort of has a pitch. Before we say his answer, let's say that Casey and Sam show up with their
punishments.
Right. And at first I thought they were just costumes, which was not game changing, but they are a little game changing.
Yes, because Casey comes out first and she's in her like rainbow getup with the like pinwheel necklace situation. But that turns out to be the pinwheel of doom, which means as long as that thing starts spinning, you have to stay in the room that you're in at that time until it stops spinning. So that can affect her social game. Yeah,
if everyone moves on, she's trapped in a room.
Yeah.
And this lasts a week until
the first eviction.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sam's is
crazy.
Far worse.
Yes.
Insane.
She's this robot thing, which is like cute and funny at first, but like you are not in the house being face to face with anyone as long as you're that robot. That is a huge disadvantage.
I am shocked. I mean, first off, logistically, where's Sam? Like, what's happening?
Where is she? Yeah.
Crazy. And she's literally like a little robot, like bumping into things, trying to be in the same room as everybody else.
And it's just audio of her voice. It's like this weird robot face. Now, luckily for her, the thing that will help her a little bit, but I think not much, is that she will play part of the game as a human. It's something about robot in, robot out, or robot online, offline. Whenever the robot is offline, she comes in as a human and will be able to connect with people. So that will help her a little bit. So there will be
moments, obviously. Yeah. And she'll probably play HOH and like Vito, and that's when she'll be human. And maybe they'll let her sleep.
Yeah, but people cannot get a read on you. They can't really get to know you as a person.
They're obviously not going to start whispering with you and being like, look, this is what we need to do. Yeah. You're going to get left out of that stuff.
You're the butt of a joke for the first week of the game.
Right.
So it's tough for her.
Again, logistically, where's she going to sleep? Are they going to let her come in at night?
Yeah.
Like if I knew I were coming in at night every night, I'd be like crawling in and being like, what I miss?
Exactly. Take advantage of those nights if they're going to let you in there.
That's going to be interesting to see how that goes, because that's difficult. Yes, that is game changing.
That is definitely game changing.
I would imagine.
But then Julie calls Swaggy up and he has to make his decision. So he sort of explains the 3 groups,
he does not explain well. This is the problem. It's just how you say it.
Yes. You have to be clear.
He ends up going with the other random 4 that entered with his 4.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't say, I'm just going to pick the group that I went in with. I don't want any of you to not be safe.
Right. He doesn't say like it's nothing personal or anything like that.
He doesn't set it up in any way of like, I'm just trying to do what makes sense.
Yeah.
My group that went in.
Yes. That's it.
He doesn't say that. He's like, I wish I could do you. I wish I could do you.
And I don't think that helps him to say like, well, I could choose you because of this, or I could choose you because of that, but I'm not going to choose you despite those things. Like, I don't think it helps him to do all of this explaining. He should just very clearly say, I'm picking the group that went in the house with me. That's it. It's nothing personal against anyone.
Yeah. Done. I just feel like that could have gone better for him.
And I have to say, I would not want to be in Swaggy C's position at all this week. If I were Angela, I would have thrown that competition as quickly as possible. I mean, as convincingly as possible. But I don't want to be in a position where I'm making enemies out of half of the house week 1.
Nope.
I don't want to give anyone a reason to say, well, you didn't keep me safe, so I'm going to put you on the block now. No, none of that. I don't want to be in that position.
Once you already passed the point of, oh, I don't have the punishment.
Yeah.
Then don't keep winning.
Go under the radar.
It's complicated. And now he's in a position where he has pissed off half the house.
Yes. And from the few seconds that we saw where we eavesdropped on the house guests at the end of the episode, people are not respecting this decision. They're saying we would have respected it if he had picked Angela's groups because that makes sense. She won the competition like he did, but they don't like this strategy of picking the other 4 who he went into
immediately upset, and it appears that he was listening and heard.
In the kitchen. Yeah.
Interesting how it went down, but you know, that was kind of his vibe going in of like, I want them to know that I'm here to play.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's going to be too upset about the blood on his hands.
Sure.
But like we know, that doesn't necessarily pay off down the road, but it could.
Yeah. And as much as I'm like, bad decision, I don't mind because there has been so much game talk already in one episode. Like, I'm loving it so far.
Absolutely. There was some Twitter stuff that I saw where people were bored with this like extra comp that doesn't really mean anything. But I feel like that's why we watch this show, is it's about competitions, it's about game.
Yeah.
And we've already thrown them for a loop.
Yes.
They're already having to talk strategy.
Already having punishments.
Yeah. I feel like that just gets the game a-going.
The game is already going and it's night 1. Like, I think it's great.
I'm here for it.
And I'm so glad that there's no like eviction and then a veteran coming in. I don't want any of that. Like,
we get to know everyone for a week. No one's getting evicted right away. I love that. I hate when they're just all of a sudden gone, you know?
Yeah.
So Julie also mentions the App Store thing that we've read about and heard about a little bit. And then she explains it's like the vote's already up. Get out there, start voting for your person. Just be mindful, because the questions are going to be different every week, you guys. But it's about who's trending. So whoever gets the most votes is going to get the good thing. Whoever gets the least is going to get the crap app.
Right.
So don't be fooled by whatever their questions are.
Okay.
Don't vote for someone who deserves a crap app.
Exactly. If it says who's your least favorite house guest, keep in mind that the person who wins is going to get a reward.
Right.
So don't give a reward to your least favorite house guest. I'm sure all of you understand this because, you know, we're all super fans.
Right.
But listen.
But America, we have screwed things up before.
Yes.
So let's not screw this up.
Right.
Let's have fun and see how it works.
Yes.
So that's happening. We're voting right now. Thursday's episode will give us the first HOH competition.
Yeah.
Sunday's episode will find out about the app store, who got it, who was trending.
Yeah.
And HOH and information like that.
Yeah. At some point this week, we'll know about nominations, and then the first eviction, live eviction, is next Thursday.
Next week.
Yes.
So we will be here weekly.
Yes.
Please come back. Please let us know what you thought about the premiere.
Yes.
Did you change your mind about people? What are you thinking about this season? Oh, I hate to be optimistic.
I know.
But I'm optimistic.
It seems good. Yeah, let us know what you think, and we'll see you next time.
Okay, bye.
Bye.